price of 2 washes. You'll get unlimited hand washes with sealer wax, dash, windows and vacuum, tire shined, and hand finished. All unlimited. Not a member? Stop and get a quick wash anytime at great prices. And during January and February, if you join our club, you'll only pay $25 a month for the first 2 months and then $49.95 thereafter. Visit us at unlimitedAutoWashClub.com or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Want to play college football? Register today for the free Orange Bowl Florida High School Football Showcase presented by Baptist Health. Hit the gridiron on Saturday, February 15th at St. Thomas University in Miami Gardens and show off your football skills in front of coaches from across the country for a chance to earn scholarships and aid for college. The event is open to high school juniors and seniors. More than $1 million is awarded each year. Register for free today at orangebowl.org.
Are you one of those people that just can't focus at home? The dog barks, the kids are screaming, and you're thinking, how am I going to get all of this work done? Working from home can be distracting, but Intelligent Office is here to help you focus. They offer quiet and affordable private office and meeting spaces in Palm Beach Gardens to help you get your work done. Call 561-472-8400 or visit intelligentoffice.com to reserve an office today.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Well, I hope you're happy. The Chiefs dynasty is on pause. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are going out sad. And I can't lie, it hurts.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man, your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Do I have to say it today? Do I have to say it to? I don't want to do it, C-Cat.
These aren't good people you're talking to?
I don't want to.
That's what it tells me. You want to tell the people that they are good? You've got 5 seconds left. Do it.
Good people?
Uh-huh.
It is Monday, February 10th. I'm Theo Dorsey. I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm sad. Can't lie, it hurts. It hurts a lot. C-Cat's on the other side of the glass on the ones and twos. I couldn't muster it up to belt out one of the traditional good peoples because I've been able to be separate from it for long enough, right? It's been like what, 12 hours or so. C-Cat, this is tough, man. The Chiefs lost. Not only did they lose, they got pounded. The Eagles were so good that it actually made the Super Bowl 59, where Kansas City was going for an unprecedented three-peat. It relegated it to as boring as a preseason game. Like 3 drives in, I think we all could tell where this thing was going, and the only reason any of us stuck around and the only reason why there was any hope and why people were putting more money on the Chiefs' money line, even though it looked like the Eagles just had their number, is because of number 15, Patrick Mahomes. Like if anything that I glean out of all of this, Patrick Mahomes has been so spectacular, so magical, so miraculous with his play through 7 seasons in the NFL that even when it looked like they had zero answers and the Eagles were clearly the better team, people kept their TVs on likely longer than they should have because there was an ounce of each and every one of us, even if you were an Eagles fan, that thought somehow, some way that guy was going to find a way to get it done. But he absolutely didn't. And anything that the Eagles did or the Chiefs did late in the game to make the score look more respectable was too little too late. 40-22. I can't say that this is a huge shock to me. Like we saw this happen to Mahomes in a Super Bowl before, where if you're able to pressure him consistently and not have to blitz, things can get ugly in a hurry. But for some reason, C-Cat, I kept holding out hope throughout this whole thing. You know, yesterday was my anniversary. I was trying to both decompartmentalize, you know, my fandom with the Chiefs and not let that get in the way of me enjoying a wonderful dinner and a wonderful celebration with my wife, our first anniversary after getting married. And it just was, you know what? Thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles for at least not letting this thing come down to a last drive or two. For just getting it over with right out of the gates, because if I would have had to suffer through like what the Eagles had to in the Super Bowl 2 years ago or even the Niners last year, and it came down to a drive or two, and there was like a Mark Andrews drop or some kind of huge play like a Zay Flowers fumble or something, like I would have been inconsolable.
Oh, yeah, the what could have been hurts a lot more than what was, and we just found out, oh, okay, the Eagles are miles better than the Chiefs, and we just found out.
It's just way better.
Whatever.
They're just, when it comes to football, the Eagles are way better than the Chiefs this year. They were built like that. It was clear that Spags said, Jalen Hurts, hey, Jalen, hey, you're going to have to beat us. Similar to what he almost did 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, they said, we're going to make sure that number one has the ball in his hands. He's going to be the decision maker. He's going to be the difference in this game. And he answered the call. That's why he got the Super Bowl MVP, 17 for 22. 220 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but most importantly, a record 72 yards rushing for a quarterback, and, of course, the opening touchdown of the game on the ground. He got the Super Bowl MVP. The Eagles got the win, and the Chiefs were destroyed from the open. I caution anybody who wants to use this as a data point to try and, you know, rain on what the Chiefs have been able to do over the past 3 years, and since Mahomes has been a starter for the past 7. I caution anybody to also, if you're a big-time Tom Brady fan, if you're a Patriots guy, I caution you before you start popping your champagne and saying, okay, the GOAT conversation is over. No longer can we put this guy in the same conversation as our great one, Tom Brady, who has 7 Super Bowl titles. It's all said and done. You can be foolish enough to try to put a bow on this thing if you want to. I want to remind everybody, Patrick Mahomes, 29 years old. He has never finished a season outside of the top 4 in the NFL when it comes to either winning a Super Bowl, losing a Super Bowl, or finishing in the AFC Championship game. And even the 2 AFC title games he lost in, those came in overtime. So he just had maybe the worst performance of his NFL career. 6 sacks. Couple interceptions, a pick 6 to a rookie in Cooper DeJean, who I mean, that was just talk about being fooled by a coverage and letting one go, and literally that was kind of like the nail in the coffin as the Eagles took a 17-0 lead there in the second quarter. Like, it felt like there was no way they're gonna return from that, and it was true. It was true, C-Cat. Like, did you were rooting for the Chiefs, ironically.
Yeah, with my wallet and I guess the lesser of the 2 hate watches that were going on last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because America was given a bad football game, and that just sucks when the last game you get stinks that bad.
You know what? America deserves it. America low-key deserved this football game to be as bad as it was and to be as decrepit as it was. Yeah, they did.
What do they deserve that?
Because America has been the worst, like, when it comes to just consuming football, enjoying the game, and also talking about the storylines. This has been the most disingenuous and also divisive years ever. I don't know if it's what Elon Musk did to Twitter. I don't know if it's what sports talk radio and people that are the talking heads like myself have done to the industry, but it has just been absolutely unbearable. From everybody complaining and acting as if the referees are playing this big of a part in one team's excellence, to the divisiveness around the MVP conversation with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, to people with MVP votes literally rooting on one guy as they're also solidifying their vote and also helping people out who are putting money down on this MVP conversation, therefore moving the line. To also this, like, how in the world did we not have a better consideration for what this Eagles team was, like how big of a buzzsaw that they would be? And part of the reason why we never gave enough credit for that was because we were having all of these ridiculous, disingenuous conversations about who the hell deserves to be the MVP, myself included, about why in the world is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs finding ways to win on the margins there. They were a 15-win team, and to this day, even you, C-Cat, are trying to tell me that this result tells you that they weren't one of the better teams in the NFL this year.
That who? The Eagles?
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Yeah.
This tells me the Chiefs are probably the third best team in the AFC. Yeah.
See, and that's what I don't understand.
They're really good at winning games, a week-to-week matchup, but if you were to run the simulation and have the Bills play the Chiefs 10 times and have the Ravens play the Chiefs 10 times in 2024, the Ravens and the Bills would win more of those football games than the Chiefs would have.
I don't understand how you come to that conclusion.
Because I just watched the Chiefs get down 34-0 to an Eagles team. That's how I get to that conclusion.
Yeah, well, all right, so what the Eagles were able to do to the Chiefs, the Bills couldn't. The reason why the Chiefs are a better football team.
Not that they couldn't, they didn't.
They can't. There's no other team in the league that could do what the Eagles did to the Chiefs last night. That's why it's the only time we've seen the Chiefs getting beat like that.
It's one season. I mean, yeah, that season, there's the only time, that's the only matchup that it happened.
Did you see what Vic Fangio was able to do as a defensive coordinator in this game? Like, of course, I'm not going to defend the Chiefs' offensive line play or make excuses for them because there was an injury to the left tackle, which forced Joe Thuney to go out to left tackle and play out of position. And it felt like the communication for the offensive line for the Chiefs, they kept getting beat by all these stunts. But when you're able to only send 4 guys literally from the start of the game to the end of the game, 0 blitzes, and still get consistent pressure on a down-to-down basis, still sack Patrick Mahomes, who doesn't take sacks often, 6 times, creating all of those negative plays in favor of your defense, and you're dropping 7 every single time against the receiving core that is, I mean, come on, it was Xavier Worthy and the Pips. Like, of course you're going to be able to dominate a game. The Bills couldn't do that. The Lions couldn't do that. The only other team in the NFL that I think could have emulated something similar to what the Eagles were able to do was maybe the Baltimore Ravens, but they didn't get a chance because they couldn't get past the Bills. This isn't the point differential in this game doesn't validate any feelings about the Chiefs being a bad football team.
Oh, yes, it does.
I think it validates that the Eagles are head and shoulders above what the Chiefs were this year, as well as a perfect matchup to stop the Chiefs.
Okay, if the Eagles are head and shoulders above the Chiefs this year, then the Eagles are ahead over the Bills and the Chiefs. That's what it tells me. Like, not head and shoulders, but they're just ahead over the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills.
There's no team. There was no team, maybe the Ravens. There was no other team that would have been able to beat the Eagles in that Super Bowl. No other team. They played lights out. Jalen Hurts played near perfect. He had 1 bad play. The defensive line dominated with no help against an offensive line for the Chiefs that, yeah, they were a little discombobulated, but they got a couple of all-pros there still. They got a couple of guys that might be Hall of Famers at their position still, in Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Joe Thuney. Those guys are heralded as great linemen, but the Eagles have, like, warships of dudes coming in there and wreaking havoc. And on top of that, it wasn't even like it was the Saquon Barkley show. Like, they sold out to stop the biggest threat on the Eagles offense. 25 carries, 57 yards. Remember before the game when everybody kept telling me about how, oh, man, His Saquon is going to tear the Chiefs up. And I kept saying, I think they'll be able to stop the run. I think they'll be able to figure it out. They bottled up Saquon. They just couldn't get a hold of Jalen Hurts and that passing attack. How does that prove to you that the Bills were better when the Chiefs literally just beat them 2 weeks ago?
It's all theoretical, right? That's the name of the show. Quite literally, theoretically speaking. But you can't put up a performance like that, put your quarterback down 34 points, and expect me to respect you more than the other teams that didn't make it out of the AFC. That is an embarrassing.
So you're losing respect for the Chiefs because they beat everybody out to make it to that game and weren't able to beat the best team in the league this year?
Yeah, they did not represent the best conference in football in the best way. It was despicable the last 2 weeks. What were they doing all week?
What you're saying actually makes zero sense to me right now.
Yeah,
and
they won 2 coin flip games. Congratulations to that. They made a couple of plays.
What were the 2 coin flip games they won?
Excuse me. They won
one coin flip game against the Bills.
Yes, 1 coin flip game against the Bills.
But they beat the Bills. What are we talking about?
Play that game 10 times. I think the Bills win more of those chances. Yes, it's a lot of variety and variables in these games that went the Chiefs' way a couple of those times. The drops that we saw in the Super Bowl didn't happen in the AFC Championship game. A couple of calls didn't go the Bills' way. That went the Chiefs' way in the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs just so happened to have made it out of that coin flip game. Were they best suited to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl to contend with the Eagles? No.
They absolutely were. Nobody in the AFC were beating the Eagles this year.
So the Bills were going to lose by 19 or more points, or the Bills are going to be down 45 to nothing.
How does that matter? How does that matter? Because part of the reason why the Chiefs were down so much, because I believe a couple drives in, Mahomes realized I have to start swinging for the fences because none of my guys are getting open. My line can't hold up against a 4-man rush. And if I don't start getting active soon, this thing is going to get out of hand in the other way. So, and this is what you can hear it straight from Mahomes himself after the game. Again, one of the worst games of his career. He had a 0.9 QBR on third downs. That is hard to do. QBR is 0 to 100. He had a 0.9 QBR on third downs, and so much of that had to do with the Eagles' defense. Blanket coverage, nobody was getting open, and the offensive line not able to withstand the stunts and the constant pressure from that Eagles defensive front. Here's Patrick Mahomes after the game. Look, literally and this is what I love about him. Even in a loss, even in one of the worst dismantlings of his team that he's probably ever suffered outside of that Buccaneers Super Bowl, he still is not being like Ben Roethlisberger or Aaron Rodgers and stepping up to the mic and blaming his offensive line and blaming the play calling or blaming the referees. Instead, he's pointing inward and saying, I take accountability for my inability to get my team over the hump. Here's Mahomes after the game.
Team, then not a lot of good things happen, and so that's why I take ownership in this loss more than probably any loss in my entire career, is because I put us in a bad spot, and even though we put up some stats at the end of the game, those stats didn't really matter because I'd already kind of lost the momentum for this entire team, and so I have to be better at not turning over whenever it's not going my way, trusting in my defense, trusting the rest of my team to get those stops until I can figure out what we need to do as an offense.
He could have played it slow. He could have been more patient. I think that was his biggest fault, him swinging for the fences, him forcing throws when he realized there wasn't much there. Because then at least you keep your team in the game, because the Chiefs' defense played extremely well. Like, they did what they had to do. They did enough to win the football game, but Mahomes put them in bad spots multiple times, both the pick six and the interception to Zach Bond that both turned into touchdowns, obviously. And then the rest of the way, the Eagles were able to coast. So Mahomes had a bad game, a historically bad game. I do not believe this discredits anything that the Chiefs were able to do both this year and over this 7-year run. That was literally still the best 3-year run we've ever seen a team do in the NFL. Like, that can't be taken away from Kansas City.
In the literal sense, no one's had the chance to go for 3.
Yeah. And they failed at doing something that nobody's ever even had an opportunity to do so far. So still a historic campaign. It just doesn't end the way in which you want it to. And none of that. Here's my main point here, because, again, I know that people are going to want to have this parade and enjoy and bask in the Chiefs losing. And I hope that this loss makes the Chiefs feel like more mortal, you saw them bleed, right? So now you can stop making excuses and digging deep through Reddit to find conspiracy theories in which why the NFL is, because of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. They want to get more fans and reach out, so they're forcing referees to blow the whistle and throw flags in favor of them. Like, now we can get out of the weeds. with all this crap that football fans have been relegated to. And hopefully we can now enjoy the game and the wonderful, like, the difference between football and so many other sports, so much strategy. So, like, the art of war is executed in such a strong way. They talk about that Vic Fangio not having the blitz the whole game. Mahomes, one of 6 quarterbacks to face 0 blitzes in a Super Bowl. 6 quarterbacks have suffered the same fate Mahomes did, where a defense said, we're going to play you in our regular shell defense time after time. We're playing you straight up, and we're going to get to you. All 6 of those quarterbacks lost the Super Bowl, like Mahomes did last night. The Eagles out-coached them, they out-executed them, and they outplayed them. And all I can say is congrats and kudos to Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts stepped up big when the moment was the brightest, when the moment was the biggest, and he took advantage of a Chiefs defense that was not able to contain him enough. And also, this does not take anything away from what the Chiefs have done. They were still the best team out of the AFC. All of those other contenders out of the AFC that wish they could dethrone the Chiefs weren't able to do what Jalen Hurts did. This should be a day more about celebrating what the Eagles were able to accomplish and how great they were, instead of everybody trying to take their pitchforks and their picket fences and riot against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just pathetic. It's pathetic.
Well, we saw the Commanders put up a better fight. That sucks for kind of football fans, knowing that it got increasingly less competitive the more the Eagles got deeper into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the Packers gave a better fight. The Rams gave a better fight.
Yeah. That's what
you're
supposed to do.
Gave a better fight than the Chiefs.
That's what good football teams do. If you focus just on point differential and you focus just on, oh, well, this team came closer, that doesn't matter to champions. That doesn't matter to people that are out here trying to accomplish the greatest and the toughest of goals. Maybe Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore and the Eagles were holding back in some of those games, right? Maybe they didn't want to show all of their cards, because you give Andy Reid and the Chiefs, especially Coach Spags as well, 2 weeks to prepare. They're going through all of that tape 18 times. They're going to have answers for stuff you put on tape. Now, I don't think the Eagles did anything substantially different than their flow all through this postseason. But the things that the Eagles do well are perfectly suited to constrict what the Chiefs do well. The Eagles outplayed them. I think it was amazing. And, you want to know what? It was my anniversary, right? So I'm trying to enjoy my day with my wife and whatnot. And I appreciate the Eagles for getting it done in a way that wasn't, heart-wrenching for me. They just really dominated the game from the beginning until the end. I'll say this. I turned that game off, a little after halftime. I want to say 7-8 minutes into the third quarter, when I really realized, what's the point of this? What am I doing here? Why am I putting myself through this right now? I should be enjoying and celebrating and talking about and reminiscing on my first year of marriage with my wife here. I thought I'd be able to pop a bottle of champagne as the Chiefs got the three-peat in a moment that felt similar to the last couple of years, where you end the season on a high note, but I wasn't going to be able to do that. So there was no more point in me hanging around. But, C-Cat, there was one bright spot in all of this.
Before we get to the bright spot,
yeah, buddy,
you wonder why you're never going to beat the fake fan allegations. And it's not just the changing teams when you're a grown-ass man. It is this attitude towards the Chiefs' loss and going into the Super Bowl in general. It's because this loss didn't ruin your night. It absolutely should have. Ask anyone else that's a football fan.
Pump the brakes.
Because you're in the biggest game where everyone's watching, it should ruin your at least night, if not week, if not year.
Because I'm able to have a higher level of emotional intelligence than somebody that lets a moment outside of their control dictate their night. I mean, to be honest with you, that just shows that I have you put that veil of protection over yourself so you don't have to have a moment where 2 weeks from now I'm sitting down in therapy talking about, well, why the hell were you?
Because you're not a fan is not being better than someone who's not a fan who is separating themselves from that person. A fan is letting themselves be vulnerable and allowing themselves to be crushed by
how many FaceTime calls I had to pick up and messages I had to respond to?
That's because you talk behind a microphone.
Do you think I wasn't also crushed and disheartened from the loss? That has nothing to do with the way that I act after. The difference about myself and I believe other people in life that aren't able to actually respond well to things is when something happens to you and it is heart-wrenching and it takes you all the way down to the core and it sucks and you're sitting there in agony, you can sit there and, trip about it, have a bad night or whatever, but why would I let that affect or impact what was supposed to be a celebratory weekend with my wife, C-Cat?
It's not that it's because it's the smart move, it's because it's the fans' move. That is what fans do.
It doesn't even make sense.
Yes, it does. It's letting this result of this game that's being played by people who have never met you on a football field that happen to wear a jersey that you like the most, and you like the guys that wear that laundry the most. They lose that game. They have less points than the other team. For some cosmic reason, that affects your mood and your night and your week, your month, and your year. That's what being a fan is about.
Right.
Why? Because you're risking being sad for the glory of being together with your fellow fans and being happy. You lost that game.
So what you're saying is I wasn't sad enough for you.
For me?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking
absolutely,
you.
yes. You were not sad enough to be considered a real fan to me, yes.
How was I not sad enough for you? Didn't we do a
Because
show right after the Ravens got smoked in the AFC Championship game or in the divisional round?
And that ruined my night, my week, and my month.
You showed it in a different way because you were able to do that show perfectly fine, and isn't that exactly what I'm doing right now? Like, what is the difference? Like, what do y'all want out of a fan? Do you want people to cry? Also, you got to remember,
I wanted you to go into that game not saying this is the second most important thing happening this day.
It was my anniversary, C.
And you shouldn't be able to admit that.
Why would I not be able to admit that? I'm an honest person.
Because you're not a real fan.
That makes you not a real fan.
It indicates that you're not a real fan. Yes, a fan does not mean that you're smarter or better.
It's not smarter. It's not smarter. It's actually wiser, not smart. It's more wise. But I would say, how does it make you less of a fan to care more about your own life, your wife, your anniversary than the result of a game that, by the way, I think it would feel a lot different if, let's say, take it back to, let's say the Miami Hurricanes were in the national championship game this year, right? And that fell on my anniversary. And we weren't fresh off of back-to-back Super Bowl titles or national championship wins. And it felt like, I don't know if we'll ever be back to this moment again. Then there's a lot more levied on my heart as a fan on the result of that game. It made it a lot easier for me to say, hey, I'm going to prioritize my anniversary and the celebration of this marriage because I only get one of these, whereas I already have 2 Super Bowl titles as a Chiefs fan. So to be honest with you, I'm coming from a place of luxury and privilege.
Yes.
Versus not being not being hurt enough or being a fan enough for you. I don't understand how either one of those is bad, though.
And that's the other second half of the argument, because you have not been a Chiefs fan when the Chiefs were known as perennial playoff underperformers throughout the entirety of really this century, apart from the one Super Bowl against the 49ers.
I pulled for them in all of those playoffs, though.
You weren't a Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
You're not one now either. Because this loss did not affect you much at all.
So I was thinking, so I don't get to be a fan because we lost. So I was able to be a fan when we won the Super Bowls, but I lose my fandom because we lost.
Because you didn't let it affect you, yeah.
How did I not let it affect me?
Because it didn't ruin your night. You said that.
So you're saying I didn't let it affect me in the way that you preferred it to? It's similar to those people that said they didn't enjoy Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, therefore it was bad. Because something doesn't do what you want it to.
That normally does offend. Yeah, I can't classify you as a fan. You're a supporter.
You're not. So the problem, C-Cat, with your argument is it actually has no base because I'm not understanding what you would have wanted. Like, should you have told me beforehand what I should have done? I should have cried tears for you?
You should have at least admitted or at least have felt that had ruined your night at the very least.
No, I won't let it ruin my night. I won't let anything ruin my nights anymore. Fan. Yeah. I won't let anything ruin my nights. I won't let things ruin my day. I won't even let you trying to question my fandom, I guess, in closeness or proximity to you, ruin this moment for me as a Chiefs fan as well, because I also know that Patrick Mahomes is 29 years old. I also know that the Chiefs themselves have shown a great, astute ability to continue to retool this roster and to be there every single year. I know that at the very least, hey, if things go as planned, like they generally have, Mahomes is going to find a way to get right back there to the doorstep again, and I'll have a chance. Just like Jalen Hurts said after his first Super Bowl loss, we'll be back. And then they came back and won 2 years later. I have great faith that Mahomes will be able to do the same. So just because my response isn't what you want it to be doesn't make it something where you can try to what is it? I don't even understand what that would even do. Like, is it still my joy or something?
Well, you're a supporter. You support the Chiefs. You're not a fan of the Chiefs. You support them.
Okay, so what is that supposed to do?
That just means you have a little bit less credibility for other fans. Other Chiefs fans should look at Theo and be like, okay, well, he's not really one of us. He'll root for the same football team as us, but he's not really one of us.
So even if we did come to that conclusion, what does that even do for anybody? Like, why would other Chiefs fans be that concerned about my fandom? Why would you be that concerned about my fandom?
Because you don't suffer with their suffering. There's two sides to the coin.
Ask any Chiefs fan today how tough that loss was versus maybe even the Buccaneers loss versus maybe even losses of playoff past where it felt like, oh my gosh, will we ever be back there again? This loss was tough to take, but it also is a lot easier to take given the context of everything we've seen the past 7 years.
But it didn't ruin your night. You went to the Super Bowl.
It didn't ruin my night enough. It was my anniversary.
Yes.
It was it didn't ruin my night enough for you. Like, it still impacted my night, but just not in a way that I was able to, I'm not going to let that dictate all of my emotions and feelings. This is really real. This is genuine right now, the conversation we're having.
Yes, fans are not able to compartmentalize
So how were you able to do it moments after the Ravens lost to the Bills? What happened there?
It ruined my night.
It did not ruin your night.
Yes, it did.
How did it ruin your night?
I went to bed in silence. I didn't talk to my girlfriend. It was very annoying for her. She had to deal with that.
You literally did a show moments after the game ended.
Yeah, because that's my job.
Okay. So what's the difference between you being able to do your job afterwards? If you're saying that, so you're saying that in priority list of life, if you're a fan, number one should be your fandom to your team, right? That's priority over religion. That's priority over family, everything. Number one is your fandom.
In terms of determining if you're a fan. Yes.
Oh, stop. Number one is your fandom. Number two is your job. And then number three, therein lies your significant other, family, and everything. That's how it goes?
I probably didn't do my job the best of my ability because my fandom clouded a little bit.
You did a great job.
I probably was less sharp than I could have been if it was two teams that I had no connection to whatsoever. Yeah.
You did a great job, I thought. We did a great show afterwards. And to be honest with you, too, had this been the 49ers, had this been like the Bills that took out the Chiefs, it probably would have stung a little bit more as well if it was the Bengals. But I have no angst against the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is from Houston. The little homie Aniyah Smith is from Mo City, Texas. He got himself a Super Bowl ring. Like, that's just how I choose to live, though. Like, I'm a very optimistic person. That's why we open up the show as well, genuinely with good people. I like to speak to other good people. I like people to feel well and happy. I troll a little bit. I have my fun, but never will I ever allow something like that to ruin my first anniversary. And the fact, if that's what the veil of fandom, if that's what the first step to real fandom in the eyes of CCAT means,
yes,
then I wouldn't want any part of it because you claim to be a fan of the Ravens, but you also pick multiple quarterbacks over your guy Lamar Jackson, who was undoubtedly should have been the MVP this year. At least I actually root for and support the players on my team. You root actively against them, it seems.
I can watch the game with an objective view and look at what's happening. And yes, I picked Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes over Lamar Jackson coming into this season. I had 1, 2, 3. And when it came to the MVP conversation, it was a toss-up. I didn't pick one or the other.
It seemed like you were levying for Josh Allen.
Well, someone has to on this show. I'm doing my job.
Not the Ravens fan.
I'm doing my job.
Not the Ravens fan.
What?
Like,
so
that's not
should
fandom.
I have asked you to lie to the audience in who you should fight for the MVP?
First. I just don't. So I'm not understanding what your criteria. Maybe that's what we should do on the other side. We were going to discuss where Jalen Hurts ranks amongst quarterbacks in the NFL because I do think that's an important conversation to have following this win. It's more about the Eagles. It's less about the Chiefs. But then also maybe you can give us your CCAT fandom criteria so people can realize whether or not they are fans of certain teams. I think that can help clear the air for people. But for me, I still feel good. I knew this segment was never going to be perfect. I knew it was never going to feel all the way correctly aligned. It feels a little disjointed, but I can say the sadness that comes from losing a game like that, at the very least, again, the Eagles didn't make it come down all the way to the end. They dominated it from the jump, and that made it a lot easier for me to also compartmentalize the loss a little bit. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. Tap in to Theoretically Speaking. 2 questions. Number one, when did you turn the Super Bowl off? When did you finally, as Kendrick told us to during this halftime show, turn the TV off? For me, it was like late in the third quarter. I actually missed the touchdown that Xavier Worthy was able to hit. That actually scored me a lot of money. That also softened the pain for me when you're able to increase a little bread in the bank account. And also, does me not allowing a Super Bowl loss and a chance at a three-peat being pried away from the Chiefs' hands, does me not allowing that to impact my night, my anniversary night with my wife, make me not a fan, but what was it again?
You're a supporter.
A supporter. Does that relegate my fandom from fandom to supporter? That's what CCAT claims. I just don't think it does. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Tap into Theoretically Speaking. Tap in right here on the Baptist Health Hotline. And also, if you're an Eagles fan and you want to gloat, this is your opening to do so as well. 888-760-3776. The Baptist Health Hotline. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care is a team of foot and ankle, orthopedic surgeons, and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. We're late. It was a contentious first segment, but we continue on the other side, taking your calls. Is my fandom for the Chiefs cooked? When did you turn off the Super Bowl? And also, Eagles fans, you can have your victory lap. That's C-Cat. I'm Theo Dorsey. It's Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
On ESPN 106.3, you heard the Philadelphia Eagles win Super Bowl 59.
And the Eagles have beaten the Chiefs convincingly in Super Bowl 59, 40-22.
ESPN 106.3, where champions are crowned.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Where Miami heats up, the playoffs take center stage, and the big game is always in play. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try it now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams: Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
Hey everyone, it's Cade Shumslin. Every week, Land Rover Palm Beach supports local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community by naming a Player of the Week. This year, $35,000 will be rewarded to student athletes and their schools. Tune in to ESPN West Palm High School Game Day every Friday night as I unveil this week's featured athlete. If you have a great performance that I need to know about, DM us at ESPN West Palm. Land Rover Palm Beach, above and beyond.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Tonight, it's the Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics, the battle of the beaches and baked beans. Will the Heat sizzle in Boston, or will the Celtics serve up a beatdown thicker than a New England clam chowder? Find out at 7 here on ESPN 106.3.
Hey, golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round in the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
Let's be honest. If your performance in the bedroom feels more like, uh-oh, than whoa, you're not alone. But don't worry, we've got just the thing for you. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend. No awkward doctor visits, no prescriptions or crazy side effects, just a powerful, easy-to-use pill that gets you back in the game. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend works in just 15 minutes, and it's stronger than the competition. Use discount code ESPN50 for 50% off your first order. Don't wait. Visit HEXISMD.com.
It's a 3rd and 16 for the Chiefs, and a shotgun snap from their own 24, rolling out of the pocket. Mahomes lines right. It's intercepted at the 40, and picked off by DeGene, who comes to the near side, the 30. Got it back at the 20, breaks the tackle, the 10, the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown! Eagles have got a pick six. It's Cooper DeJean, a 37-yard pick six of Patrick Mahomes.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
I don't remember that sound being in the show sheet, C-Cat. I don't remember discussing us playing Cooper DeJean's pick six. When did that come about?
When we got callers that want to gloat about the Eagles, we're going to give them what they want.
Oh, my goodness, dude. They've already got what they want. They won the Super Bowl, damn it. That's not enough? Is it not enough? You know what? Winning championships comes second nature at Kaiser University. So keep coming on the Baptist Health Hotline. We'll get to you. You Eagles fans that are rating the gloat, 888-760-3776. We will get to you. I do want to tell you about the champions at Kaiser who they're used to winning, so they don't have to gloat. And they went at a high clip, 22 national titles, including back-to-back natties in men's lacrosse, 3 straight in NAIA women's swimming and diving, and, of course, the 2023 football championship. And they also made it to the game this past year in 2024 under the guidance of Miles Russ. KU has also captured more than 60 regular season and conference tournament titles, and they have the coveted Lyric Field Cup trophy. For the latest on Kaiser Seahawks, KUSeahawks.com. That is KUSeahawks.com. Man, this is a Victory Monday for Eagles fans and also for the rest of the NFL viewing public that aren't part of Chiefs Kingdom, because now you get to line up and celebrate in the demise of the Chiefs. And I get it. You've been waiting on this, rooting against them for each of the past 2 years, and it hasn't gone your way. You watched them demolish teams in the AFC on the road last year, getting through the Ravens, through the Bills, and then past the 49ers. This year, beating Josh Allen and the Bills in the AFC title game when all of the U.S. would have preferred to see new faces on the big stage. But it didn't happen for you. The only man that could get it done was Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. So here it is, y'all's chance to gloat. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. Eagles fans, we open the door for you to celebrate your Super Bowl title. And we start on the hotline with Micah, who is in Atlanta. Micah is in Atlanta, and I'm guessing you're not a Falcons fan?
No, sir. ELGSES Eagles.
Congratulations. Hey, at what point last night did you realize it was over? At what point did you realize it was over?
As soon as the national anthem was sung, I knew it was over.
To be fair to Micah, he's been saying in the chat all year long that they were going to win the Super Bowl. He's been saying in the YouTube Prize Picks chat. He also was berating me with messages before and throughout the game. So I'm happy that y'all got it done. Micah, where do you think this puts Jalen Hurts, though, man? That's your quarterback. People have doubted him all throughout his career. Where does this put him when you rank him up against other guys in the league?
Honestly, I would say that puts Jalen Hurts solidified in the top 3.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And it's hard because, obviously you as an Eagles fan, his talent sometimes might not get matched up against some of those guys like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, but it's hard to deny the facts. He outplayed Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls, and he has a title and an MVP in his hands. Like, you got to feel good. Congratulations again on the win. And somehow, I'm not sure how that Eagles fandom started out in Atlanta, but congratulations on making it happen.
Hey, just like our Chiefs fans live in West Palm.
I appreciate the call, Micah. Micah in Atlanta there, and he's right. He's right. Hey, you're allowed to be a fan of wherever you want to, and some days are better than others.
Yeah, because if you feel the pain as the other fans do, then yeah, you're just like them.
Exactly. So here's a guy, C-Cat, who I've been dreading this. I see who's lined up next here. And, again, we're taking calls from Eagles fans, giving you a chance to gloat. Noah is in Palm Beach Gardens. Noah, you're on the Baptist Health Hotline here on a Monday on Theoretically Speaking. How you feeling? How you feeling?
Good afternoon, sir. How was your anniversary?
My anniversary was spectacular. Thank you for asking. It was great. Obviously, your favorite team, they kind of hurt it a little bit on the back end, but we did not let that impact the day. How did you enjoy your Super Bowl championship, man?
I had some kind of day. It was a memorable day, and I know we went back and forth quite a few times about how this game was going to go, and I've always been I've been on record for a while saying that the Eagles were way more likely to blow out Kansas City than vice versa.
Yeah.
Kansas City just didn't have the firepower, and we just ripped into them. And now when you talk about where does Jalen Hurts rank? So let's think about this for a second. The league has changed over time. Even when Tom Brady first got into the league, it was a little more run heavy and he evolved, and now we're chucking the ball over the place in stats. But the thing that separated Tom from everybody in the whole world was his ability to make plays when it was time to make plays. And he made the play, and he made every single play when he had to make the play. And Patty Mahomes, up until last night, he used to follow that pattern as well. Jalen Hurts has that. He has that it factor. It might not look flashy at times, and you might question some of the decision-making with protecting the ball too long and taking sacks and doing some other things. But when push comes to shove, I've been saying this all along, what matters is whether your quarterback can win games, and Jalen Hurts can. I think it was honorable, and I know for a fact that Sirianni did this on purpose. They called that bomb when we were down up by 27 points on the first down, 50-yard bomb to make a statement, and he did.
That's the thing, though.
And I could talk about this.
Hey, here's what I want to say, though. What's clear about Jalen Hurts is, number one, he doesn't play outside of himself. He allows the game flow, and he will relegate himself to manager when he needs to make sure that you're not putting the ball in harm's way. But he obviously has it, right? Like, he has that deep ball connection with A.J. Brown. He goes to it when he needs to, and he made all the right plays. Like, are you feeling like this could be the start of something incredible in Philly, or do you think this is a flash in the pan? Like, how confident are you that y'all get back to this stage again based on what you've seen out of the team and the way y'all drafted and everything?
No, the way the roster sets up and moving forward, we have no glaring needs. We're going to draft the best players on the board. And I think once you start to put yourself in that position, and the Eagles have been in that position for a few years now where they could try to take the best player, it's starting to pile up where we don't have to reach for a quarterback or we don't have to reach for a certain player where you could draft O linemen and D linemen and actually the pieces that won the game for us last night. So they're in a great spot. I don't see any scenario where Jalen Hurts regresses to where he doesn't still have confidence and the drive to do it. He has the drive and the poise and those things won't go away. And probably the proudest moment I had of the whole thing is, and I've been a big proponent of this in team sports, we sometimes forget that sports are, other than like wrestling or boxing or something like that, MMA, it's a team sport. And if you could get the sum of all the parts to perform in a certain direction, it's amazing what you can accomplish when nobody stands up to take the credit.
Right. That's right. And appreciate the call. Congratulations on the Super Bowl title there, Noah. You're right about that. I thought the one thing, remember we did a whole show on this, and Noah ridiculed me for it. I thought the one thing that could impede the Eagles' chances to win a Super Bowl this year would have been ego, would have been A.J. Brown belly aching on the sideline and reading books, would have been Jalen Hurts leaning in on his QB1 moniker and trying to be a hero and save the day. It could have been Nick Sirianni maybe doing too much on the sideline and whatnot, but they put ego aside, and they played just fundamentally better football than the Chiefs from the opening kick until the end of the game. It's hard too, C-Cat, to see how this isn't a team that's right back here again next year. The NFC is weak. They have a bunch of young dudes that were balling out. And like if Saquon Barkley is still in the contract, right? It was like a 3-year deal that they got him on. They'll be fine.
I would say if your only priority in the NFL is watching the Eagles lose, you have one hope, and they never played the Lions. So, like, we haven't seen that game yet. And whenever we do see that game in the future, as long as both sides are very similar, the odds are the Lions will be more healthy than they would have been if the Lions beat the Commanders and faced off with the Eagles in the NFC Championship.
But look at how the Eagles just beat the Chiefs. And I know the Lions' offensive line is so much better. They're like a top 3 unit in the NFL, so you're not going to get consistent pressure like that. But if the Eagles are able to find a way to pressure Goff, even in 50% of the way they were able to pressure Patrick Mahomes last year, he will fold. He will disintegrate under that kind of a pressure. And I don't think anybody can hold up against that level of like just dominance that the Eagles had.
Yeah, we saw the Vikings do that to the Lions Week 18 to decide the division, where we saw kind of the carriage turn into a pumpkin for Jared Goff in back-to-back games.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, that would be the difference in why I don't feel confident that the Lions are the team that gets past the Eagles, maybe what the Commanders do in retool. Like, I do think you need a problem solver at quarterback that is above the level of playmaking and problem solving that Goff provides you to go along with the rest of the units and the team. That's why Sean McVay got off of Jared Goff and went to Matt Stafford. And it's also why the Lions lost this year. Goff held them back in a way that Hurts won't, in a way that Mahomes won't. Lamar hasn't. Josh Allen hasn't. And if he's healthy and if they're good at all, Joe Burrow's supposed to not be that kind of guy. Brian's in West Palm. Another Eagles fan opening up to gloat here on Theoretically Speaking. It is your day. Congratulations on the championship. You joined the Baptist Health Hotline on Theoretically Speaking. How you feeling on this Victory Monday, Brian?
Theo, my guy, man. I listen to you every day, man, and sometimes I kind of want to shut it off, but, I mean, I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm going with C-Cat on this for the fan. My team happened to lose to you guys, the Buffalo Bills, and I was sick. You know what I mean? I couldn't even watch the Super Bowl because I was still hurting. But it's just, as a fan that you're putting into a whole season of this, you're watching every game, 17 games, and then, you know what I mean, you go to the playoffs. I traveled to Buffalo, New York, where I'm originally from. I traveled there to watch the Baltimore versus the Bills game. It's just the heart that you put into that. And once you see your team go down, it's just, it takes the right out of you. I understand your anniversary. I told my girlfriend, I said, if the Bills end up losing to the Chiefs, I said, you better cancel the whole weekend, and even the weekend after that, because I'm going to be hurting. You know what I mean?
I get that.
I get it.
Look, hey, to be honest with you, I am glad that she's understanding of you in that way, and I'm also glad that you made sure you prioritized letting her know that ahead of time. I commend you for that. I still am never gonna change my ways in any of this with my fandoms of any of my teams, but. Appreciate the call. I do ask you one thing, though. You really did not watch a bit of this past Super Bowl. You didn't see a second of it.
You know, I said I wasn't going to. You know, all of us Bills fans, you know, we're talking about the boycott and that. But,
yeah.
I mean, I tuned in here and there to.
Hold on now. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. You just told me seconds ago.
Everyone wants the boycott. Nobody wants to boycott. That's what it tells me.
He wanted the boycott to happen, but then he broke the line.
Turned it on in the second half. You know what I mean? As I seen the score, because I was scared at first.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? You never know. You got Patrick Mahomes, and you never know what's going to happen. I even put money on the Chiefs coming back because I said, you know what I mean?
A lot of people did.
He is playing great, and I thought, you know, I even did minus or plus 11 for the Chiefs to come back and win the game, and it didn't even come close to that. But
I hate that for you too, because that hurts both ways. Because now you're actively pulling for the Chiefs to come back, and then it doesn't happen still.
Yes, you sold your soul out to this team that you hate, and you believe the league's rigged against you. The time that you actually jump back onto them.
Oh, man.
It's brutal.
That's great. Hey, Brian, I appreciate you for tapping in, and I appreciate you giving your 2 cents on that. And good luck to the Bills next year. Thanks for tapping in. That
is a bad mix of coincidences or whatever, a series of events to go wrong.
That's tough.
It's the team that you hate. You decide, I guess, if I hate them that much, maybe I'll just bet on them. And
it's an emotional hedge.
Exactly.
It's like if they lose, you're happy, but then if they win, at least you make some money off of it. It's worse because the Chiefs, kind of came back, made it a little interesting with that plus 11 number, but did not do anything to actually create the at least chaos that would have been if they were able to make this thing a game. Like, people started bringing up the Brady 28-3 thing. People were bringing up the Mahomes comeback against the Texans down 24-zip. What was that, 2020? Those were such different games because, like, the Eagles literally had the Chiefs' number. It wasn't like the Chiefs were doing anything and executing in a poor way. It wasn't like let's say the Hopkins drop, right? That was one play. The Kelsey drop, that was one play. Other than that, they weren't getting open. The line wasn't blocking anybody, and the Eagles had a consistent offensive approach that was going to be hard to hold out of the end zone on a drive-to-drive basis. They were just better. And them being that much better did make it a little easier to stomach and watch because it's like you started feeling like you didn't even have a chance in that thing.
Yeah, the Band-Aid was ripped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That made it, to be honest with you, too, like that did make it a lot easier for me to try and force some enjoyment out of the rest of my night. Also, I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan, so being able to watch him perform his halftime show, that kind of warmed me up a little bit more. I was like, all right, that was great. That was cool to see. That was pretty great. And there's no way to console this. There's no way to, correct this, but I pride myself on this, not letting anything bring me down too much or negatively impact my day. C-Cat, we have another Eagles fan?
We got.
Where are they coming from?
I don't know if Asher's an Eagles fan, but he wants to talk about the Super Bowl.
The hell are y'all coming from? Asher is in West Palm. Asher, you're here on Theoretically Speaking. Are you an Eagles fan, Asher?
Nah, man. Theo, what's up, man? How are you?
Oh, that's my dog. That's my homie, Asher. You're not an Eagles fan. You're a Buccaneers fan. What's up? Welcome to the show.
No, I'm a Dolphins fan.
Oh, even worse. What's happening? What's happening, Asher? How are you feeling following that Super Bowl then? What was your number one takeaway?
Man, for me, that Eagles defensive line, I mean, the way they played was, I've never seen no defensive line really just really just get to pat like that. Like, the Eagles defensive line, all them boys on the line got to get paid. Yeah. I mean, they played a great game. They set the tone for the game. And I think after that, Patrick just really couldn't really get into a flow. The defense was just so strong. But I wish we talk more to the game. We're talking more about the halftime show. But, it is what it is. But it was a great game. And that Eagles defensive line is probably one of the best in history to ever play in the Super Bowl.
Where do you rank Jalen Hurts now? When you look at the rest of the quarterbacks, and we're going to have this discussion here today on Theoretically Speaking, like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, which of those guys do you take over Hurts, who now has 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win, and a Super Bowl MVP, and he outperformed Mahomes twice in the biggest game of the year?
I mean, you have to put him right there in the top 5. I mean, he's a great quarterback. Yeah. I mean, I love the way he plays, and you have to put him up there. I mean, he showed up. I could see if he had an average game and we just said, oh, the Eagles defense carried him. But no, if you look into, what was it, third quarter where they threw, was it a third quarter? Because I called it. When they threw the bomb. When they threw the bomb to Devontae, I called it because when he
caught it,
they stepped back. I called it.
Yeah, okay, called it. Okay, gotcha.
I called it. I wish I would have caught it. But I knew he was confident, and I knew, hey, he had no fear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that he's overcame so much from Alabama, what he went through there to go to Oklahoma, and then the Dallas. I think he smashed all the doubt. He's an elite quarterback, but if you look at pure talent, people are still going to argue, okay, Lamar, Burrow, Josh Allen, but he's right in the top 5. You can't take him out the top 5.
You can't take him out the top 5. Appreciate the call, Asher. Sorry about your Dolphins and not getting him, instead getting Tua Tagovailoa. Maybe they'll make up for it in the future. You can't take him out of the top 5. I also will say this, though. We can celebrate the talent of these other quarterbacks. We can celebrate the tools and their ability when you talk about Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and whatnot. But one thing you can't take away from Hurts is the results. Like, he has proven not only to be a guy that can get you wins all throughout the regular season and continue to return to the big stage, but he's proven that he can play well when the lights are the brightest. His postseason career, 9 games for Jalen Hurts so far. He's 6-3. He's got the Super Bowl title and the MVP, 1,800 passing yards, 381 rushing yards, 20 total touchdowns in 9 games, but most importantly, just 3 interceptions. He is an elite quarterback. He's not a guy that you will want to go out there and tell me, go win me a game all by yourself. I can discount the amount of money I pay on defense. I'll discount your weapons. You go make it happen. But he's also not a guy that is going to make you or put you in a position where you're going to lose because of his insufficiencies. Like, he has done everything he's needed to do to win games, and I do think that we need to start having that conversation. In my books right now, because of resume, he's number 2.
Really?
He's number 2.
If you could start your franchise
That's a different question. You want drafting
the best
a quarterback
player, right?
Drafting a quarterback out of thin air just based on talent, just based on ability is a different question than saying who is the second best quarterback right now in the NFL based on production and based on what they've done. His resume is unparalleled to any of the other guys that you're trying to measure him up to.
We got this conversation for the next hour. We got to get to break, but I'm fascinated.
Yeah. I'd love to have this conversation because, again, if we're going to say that Joe Burrow is in that level, if he's in that kind of a aura because of what he was able to do against Mahomes in the AFC title game and making a Super Bowl, we have to give credit to Hurts for not just making one, but winning a Super Bowl as well against a great one. We'll have that conversation on the other side. The happy hour is next on Theoretically Speaking. That is CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey. Congratulations one more time to the Eagles fans. I'm glad you're having your moment in the sun. I mean, that franchise just doesn't win enough, man. It's not like y'all didn't just have a championship the other day. Oh. Now all of a sudden, all of America is rooting for y'all like y'all are some kind of underdogs. Congrats to y'all, though. The happy hour is next here on Theoretically Speaking. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey with Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
On ESPN 106.3, you heard the Philadelphia Eagles win Super Bowl 59.
And the Eagles have beaten the Chiefs convincingly in Super Bowl 59, 40-22.
ESPN 106.3, where champions are crowned.
Want to play college football? Register today for the free Orange Bowl Florida High School Football Showcase presented by Baptist Health. Hit the gridiron on Saturday, February 15th at St. Thomas University in Miami Gardens and show off your football skills in front of coaches from across the country for a chance to earn scholarships and aid for college. The event is open to high school juniors and seniors. More than $1 million is awarded each year. Register for free today at orangebowl.org.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hey golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round in the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
The 2024 Land Rover Discovery, built for those who seek both adventure and luxury. With 2.9% APR for 48 months, now is the perfect time to drive into your next journey. For well-qualified buyers, that's as low as $17.92 a month per $1,000 financed. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today off Okeechobee Boulevard, or head over to LandRoverPalmBeach.com and take home the 2024 Discovery today.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before,
and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. This is the happy hour. This is Theoretically Speaking. It's your boy right back at it. C-Cat on the other side of the glass on the ones and the twos. He, like the rest of America, celebrating and rejoicing in the demise of the Chiefs and the victory of the Eagles, even though it kind of hurts you a little bit.
I'm not celebrating. I wish Hard Rock Bet had a green next to my bet that I placed, not red. I wish I won. I put money on the Chiefs. I wish the Chiefs won last night.
Okay, yeah. So, and also I forgot, you were supporting the Chiefs. You were because you're disdain for Eagles fan and your disdain for the rest of America. You wanted misery to have company, and either result for you was bad, but the one that the rest of America also didn't want, you wanted to happen, and it didn't. It didn't. So.
I am like 0 for 10 in hate watches, man.
Yeah, you got to stop it.
You look at all these championships that have been won in pro and college sports, I'm on the wrong side of each and every one of them. Whether it's an active hate watch or a passive hate watch, if it's a lesser of two evils, I didn't want the Celtics to win. Didn't want Ohio State to win. I did not want the Eagles to win. I am just batting 0 for. It's tough.
It's been rough. It's been rough. I mean, obviously, your run is bordering historic. Because it's not just the hate watches, it's also your favorite teams have been losing in these big games. Penn State, the Yankees. So I don't know. Does it make it any – so you experienced the Mark Andrews drop in the divisional round against the Bills, right? You
the most recent example, yeah.
And that was – we like to call that the AFC Championship game, not a divisional round game, because that was pretty much what we presumed.
And now we know they were the two best teams in the AFC, yeah.
Well, no, because the Chiefs beat the Bills. I will say the Ravens would have been a tougher matchup for the Chiefs, and if the Ravens would have won that, if Mark Andrews did catch that and the Ravens completed the comeback, we could be talking about a matchup in the Super Bowl that would have been more competitive, Ravens versus Eagles.
Hard to be less competitive, for sure.
Very much so. Hard to be less competitive, but you got to get there to have a chance, and the Bills had their chance, and they lost. So I'm sorry that it feels like you're more disheartened that the Bills didn't make the Super Bowl over your own Ravens.
Well, that's just the most recent. Like, I have come to terms with the Ravens' loss. It's whatever. But, yeah, the last chance I had for someone not named the Chiefs to represent the AFC, that was also a loss.
Yeah. And that's the problem is, like, you line it up, you get out there on the football field, and may the best man win. Last night, it was the Eagles. 2 weeks ago, it was clearly the Chiefs who outplayed the Bills in a football game that decided who gets to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Like, it is what it is. You have to live with the results. That's outside of the actual, what we were supposed to be talking about right now, because we keep on talking about the Chiefs when we should be shining a light on what happened for the Philadelphia Eagles here following a Super Bowl 59 win in New Orleans. Jalen Hurts just 7 short years ago, was in a national title game with Alabama. He was 3 for 8, 21 yards through the air against the Georgia Bulldogs defense that literally had the Tide's number, and they were scoreless. Hurts was in one of the toughest positions he had been in his young career. At Channelview High School as a quarterback, he was electric. He won and shined at every level. That's how he got the Alabama offer. In his freshman year with the Tide, they go on to win the championship, right? Like, he is great under Nick Saban, and everything is going well for him. This was the low point for him, and Nick Saban looks at the sideline, he turns, and he puts Tua Tagovailoa in. Tua comes back. He helps the Tide to a win, and I misspoke. Bama actually lost to Clemson. That was the Deshaun Watson, I believe, championship. Bama lost to Clemson in that national championship game, so this was Hurts seeking his first national title, and it was Tua that came in to save the day and win it. That felt like the low point for Hurts. Since then, he ends up staying with Bama for a year, becoming this guy that the Tide, as a football fandom, celebrated because he stayed 10 toes down with them even after getting benched. Going on to Oklahoma and being a Heisman candidate and a guy that was playing at the highest of levels as well, to go off into the NFL draft. And even still, with the pedigree he had in college, C-Cat, in the 2020 NFL draft, which we think is going to go down as one of the greatest quarterback draft classes in the history of the league, they picked Tua Tagovailoa ahead of him, Justin Herbert ahead of him. Joe Burrow literally goes number 1 overall in that draft. Jordan Love out of Utah State. What was Jordan Love? Was it Utah State, right? Yeah. He goes ahead of Jalen Hurts. And in the second round, the Eagles end up with this guy who was called a running back, this guy who was at every turn criticized, talked about his shortcomings, but not his ability to be a winner. Even the Philadelphia Eagles fan base booed him as a second-round pick. They booed a flyer because they believed in Carson Wentz so much at that time.
Exactly. They had a quarterback already.
And it proved to be one of the smartest and maybe one of the more valuable selections in the history of the NFL draft, because now, after the past 4 seasons, we've seen this guy carry this franchise to heights that not many young quarterbacks have been able to do. 26 years old, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl championship and MVP, and a win against Patrick Mahomes, outplaying the guy who his only peer before this, Patrick Mahomes, was a guy that's no longer playing football, and that's Tom Brady. Mahomes was chasing ghosts, and Tom Brady, who was right there doing the broadcast, as we watched Jalen Hurts enter the realm of becoming a colleague, of becoming a peer, of becoming a person that can say, I can look Patty Mahomes in the eye and outplay him on the biggest stage. What's lost in all of this is Hurts has elevated himself into that position that nobody saw coming. And I think because the Eagles' win was so dominant and because it didn't hang on every single throw or fourth down conversion or scramble, people are going to take the credit away from that guy. But I do want to sit here today and say, as Mahomes has beaten down on everyone in the AFC and relegated them to their fan bases cheering for and praying for MVPs in the regular season versus playoff wins, to where you got a guy like Deion Dawkins, the left tackle for the Bills, following a win against the Ravens, not talking about hoping to go on this Super Bowl journey, but talking about how Josh Allen should be the most viable player in the NFL. Regular season crap. And here goes this guy on the other side in the NFC just quietly cooking and doing it at a level that people don't respect like they should, but it has been nothing short of excellent what Jalen Hurts has been able to do with the Eagles. He's entered the sphere of saying, I can be a peer of Patrick Mahomes, and I do think that at that same time, as people are trying to leverage it, they're saying, hey, he's like a top 5 quarterback now. He's in there. He's a top 5 quarterback. I'm putting Jalen Hurts at number 2 in the NFL right now because he's done something that nobody's been able to do, and that's outplay Mahomes twice on the biggest stage and beat him in a Super Bowl.
That feels a little bit extreme. I feel like we're putting all of the efforts from everyone not named Jalen Hurts, and we're selling them short. The team sport, and clearly, as we talked about going into this game, the Chiefs are overwhelmed and outmanned at almost every single position besides quarterback, special teams, and maybe tight end. And that was still true going into that game, and we saw it unfold last night.
All right, so my question to you is this. In the first Super Bowl 57, Eagles-Chiefs, who had a better game between Mahomes and Hurts?
Who
played better?
I thought it was a toss-up. I wouldn't give an advantage to either side.
Okay,
That both played equally as well. One ended up with the win.
That's fair. In this past game that we just watched last night, who had a better football game? Who had a better performance?
Jalen Hurts. Patrick Mahomes was historically poor last night.
Mahomes had an 11.4 QBR, took 6 sacks, threw a pick 6 to a rookie. And while he was 21 for 32, a lot of his best completions outside of the bomb to Worthy were like at or behind the line of scrimmage because they couldn't get much going. Hurts outplayed him again, and his scrambles, 11 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown. He was electric on the ground as well. At some point, we have to take results and resume over the quote-unquote eye test. Like, I get it. Y'all think Justin Herbert has more tools than Jalen Hurts. I've seen Herbert now multiple times in the postseason, and I've seen him both relinquish a huge lead and also look non-competitive in a game that they could have at least put up a better fight in. I haven't seen Hurts fall flat on his face in the postseason but one singular time. And outside of that, he's been bordering elite. I don't know what else he has to do for y'all to consider him a top 5 quarterback or number 2 in the league right now. Does he have to win 3 more Super Bowls? Does he have to win a regular season MVP like Josh Allen? But you can't tell me that him looking Mahomes in the eye and outplaying him once, if not twice in the Super Bowl shouldn't be a legacy-building thing the same way that Eli Manning is basically becoming a Hall of Famer based off of it, right? Eli Manning's Hall of Fame career, and that it will eventually happen, is only because he beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Hurts, what makes him worse than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson? What puts those quarterbacks ahead of him if you're just being objective about it?
Yeah, because we're not just talking about wins and losses. We're talking about more than just the eye test. We're talking about the context of the teams that surround them. Mm-hmm. And I see quarterbacks like Joe Burrow. I see quarterbacks even like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have to do more to get their team across the finish line than I see Jalen Hurts have to do. I don't think it's as simple and black and white as, okay, Hurts equals 1 win over Mahomes, Lamar equals 0 in the playoffs, Allen equals 0.
So the only thing that I would say to push back to that is it feels like we'll just take it quarterback by quarterback in this discussion, right? So we can go to Joe Burrow.
Sure. He's kind of the lowest hanging fruit in this argument because he had the weakest last year.
He's the one as well that I think most people agree, and even I would agree, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are more talented than Jalen Hurts. They have more tools. If I'm an offensive coordinator, and like you said earlier, like if I'm trying to start a franchise today, those guys I feels like opens you up to being able to do a lot more with less, which is helpful to team building in a salary cap sport. So I understand people looking at them and saying those guys are great, those guys are elite talents. I would want them over Jalen Hurts. They still haven't done it in the biggest moments enough, right? Like Lamar had his shot last year, and he had a great team around him. Josh Allen had his shot this year, and you said the Bills had a better roster than the Chiefs, so they didn't get it done. So those guys, though they had the talent around them and they were the great elite quarterbacks that you all considered them to be, couldn't get it done when it mattered the most, whereas Hurts just did. The only problem I have is if you're going to knock Hurts for playing well and being surrounded by good talent, then why is it that we give credit to people like Joe Burrow, who the reason the Bengals beat the Chiefs in that AFC Championship game had a lot less to do with him than it did with the defense and the defensive play calling and stifling Patrick Mahomes. Like that was what got them over the hump in that game and got them to the Super Bowl that they inevitably lost. Even with Lamar Jackson, though, even with Lamar and the great regular seasons he's had, the Ravens defense did enough to beat the Chiefs in the AFC title game last year, right?
Yeah,
like you would agree.
Yeah.
The Ravens defense, though, the Chiefs didn't score in the second half.
Yeah.
Chiefs didn't score, and I know that the offensive play calling, Todd Monken got, out-coached there. The only 6 rushes is going against the grain of what you've been doing all year long, but still, Lamar had the ball in his hands. He wasn't able to get over the hump. He wasn't able to get it done. And you told me before, and you're still telling me afterwards, that the Bills had a better team, a better roster than the Chiefs this year, right?
I said it before. Obviously, the game played out differently, so I would be less strong in that opinion, but I would probably say yes still.
So you just said the Chiefs weren't the best team in the AFC. You said the Bills were better than them.
Yes, I feel like Josh Allen was playing better quarterback this year than Patrick Mahomes was.
You said the Bills had a better roster around Josh Allen than Patrick Mahomes,
and I just
right?
said I probably feel less strongly about it now, but I still do.
You still think so? So
yes.
Josh Allen has the better roster, and you're saying he's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes, which is laughable, but I'll take it.
He had a better season, yeah.
You can say that too. You can say that as well. I mean, that doesn't, regular season statistics, I guess, is what we're gauging these things off of, which Jalen Hurts has great stats every regular season as well. So then how do you delineate between who is better than who? When you talk about who's next up under Patrick Mahomes, what is the point of delineation for you? Is it just the arm talent? Is it just the highlights? Or is it the results like Hurts has provided year after year?
We watched the game last night. All the turnovers and the situations that the Eagles offense was put into made it a whole lot easier for Jalen Hurts and that Eagles offense, even without the run game being taken away from them. So I don't think it was a Herculean effort from Jalen Hurts because it didn't have to be. I'm not asking Jalen Hurts to do anything else that he hasn't done already. It's just that Jalen Hurts hasn't been asked to do as much as other quarterbacks.
So when those quarterbacks that you herald to be so good are asked to do more and they come up short, why are they not knocked for that? Because I would assume if they were asked to do more, but you're saying they have the abilities to make up that gap, then they would come through in the clutch and win those games, but they haven't.
They are knocked because they come up short against Patrick Mahomes, so we all clearly put Mahomes above those other AFC quarterbacks. That's why I'm knocking them.
If he didn't have the performance that he had against these Chiefs 2 years ago, there would be more credence to what you're saying. Because we can all agree the Eagles are way better this year. They're way more fortified. They have a much stronger defense this year than they did 2 seasons ago when they faced the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But he was better almost even in that game outside of one fumble, which was kind of the difference for the Chiefs in favor of the Chiefs. No quarterback wins these things on their own merit. Every team is going to have sufficient parts around it in order for them to execute and be able to win enough games to be crowned Super Bowl champions. It happened for Brady. It damn sure happened in both of Peyton Manning's Super Bowl wins. And for Burrow, who got over the hump against Mahomes, and for Josh Allen, who throughout this year played excellent, but it was behind a great offensive line and an elite rushing attack and a really good offensive play caller in Joe Brady. Like, all of them would admit to you, we don't get here on our own. So if we can knock Hurts for the talent he had around him this year, then do we give him any credit for 2 years ago when he did the same exact thing but just came up a play short?
Sure, it was a great performance in that Super Bowl. Again, we're looking at more than just these 1 nights a year or 2 nights every single season. We're looking at as a whole. I think that if you were to watch the Eagles every single week, including last night, you're not seeing Jalen Hurts putting the Eagles in the reason why they're winning a Super Bowl. He's not the reason they won the Super Bowl, apart from other quarterbacks with their teams where that one man is the reason why they are where they are.
There's something to say about being a winner. There's something to say about having the composure and the leadership. And sometimes it's also the ability to just stay flatline. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Don't try to play outside of your own abilities. Don't try to make a play that isn't there, which Mahomes did multiple times last night, and he admitted to it. He put his team in a vulnerable position, specifically that defense, that made it a lot easier for the Eagles. But here is Patrick Mahomes himself, who is the guy that every quarterback gets judged up against. Here he is following the loss, talking about why he, not just me, not just other football fans and a lot of football pontificators who are now eating their words because they discredited Jalen Hurts all along the way, why he believes Hurts is a different level of a quarterback.
But the one thing that I've always respected about Jalen is that he's a winner. And I know that some people take that as like it's not a good thing, but you have to find ways to win with your football team that you have around you. And that's what I've learned in my entire career, and that's what he's came into the NFL and done his entire career, is that if he needs to run the ball, he will run it. If he needs to throw the ball, he will throw it. And if he needs to make a big play, he will make the big play. And so that's stuff that not everybody has, and that's something that I have a lot of respect for Jalen. And I said it after the first Super Bowl we played against. I said he will be back, and he was, and he got the better of me today. And I'm sure we'll face again at some point in our careers in a big game like this.
What I won't let happen today is people try and steal credit away from a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and a champion who has been on this stage before and also played his heart out and had his team a possession away from winning it. Jalen Hurts deserves his flowers today. Tom Brady gave them to him. Mahomes gave it to him after that game. And I believe going forward, there's going to be a different level of respect that teams have for the Eagles offense as long as it is quarterback not number one. It's never going to be as flashy as some of these other guys. And he also only makes those kind of plays when he needs to, especially in the postseason, because he's very risk-adverse. Only 3 interceptions in his 9 playoff games. But that's part of the reason why he has a 6-3 record in the postseason. That's the reason why he was crowned a champion last night. And also, I think that's the reason why going forward, this Eagles team is going to be a dominant force and one that is hard to stop. That is like some, right there, C-Cat, that's like a little Culligan water cooler talk right there. Hey, Culligan, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what people are talking about today is like, where does Hurts rank? What do you think about Jalen Hurts these days? And I know we have differing views on it, but I do believe that that's going to be one of those things that over these next couple of years, he'll have a chance to continue to prove it.
Just as you said, what I'm not going to do is allow people to discredit Jalen Hurts. I am also in my seat with the responsibility that I have is to not get on one knee and kiss the ring of Jalen Hurts and overreact to last night's game.
You shouldn't. That's smart. I'm a results man. I play the results sometimes. I know the process is important, but sometimes when you're spot on with the process and you are elite in cultivating good results, that's when you become a champion. That's when you become excellent in a way that is unrivaled. And you know who also gets great results time after time? It is Culligan. It's Culligan, man. Culligan.com. That's where you can go. I've been telling y'all about getting free water tests and checking out to see if you can, revamp your system, get straight. Well, it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet. But the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals that are now in the water? The team at Culligan understands this, and they can help remove these from your water. Culligan offers water testing, and they offer reverse osmosis systems. These are all designed to help filter out those contaminants right at the source so you can live healthier, live clean. Culligan's been helping out the local community as well since 1936. You don't want those toxins, those potentially cancerous chemicals in your water affecting you, affecting your family. Get your free water test today at Culligan.com. Just say, "Hey, Culligan man," and tap in today. I get it, man. There has to be checks and balances, C-Cat. There has to be checks and balances. I understand it. I hope that you continue to keep me level-headed about this Jalen Hurts experience. In fact, I hope I'm wrong. Because if Hurts is the second, even third best quarterback in the league, we are in a heap of trouble. I don't think we'll ever, after seeing what happened to the Chiefs last night, it seems extremely difficult to imagine a team ever getting a three-peat. But if you're going to be able to situate yourself to do so, you're going to want a roster like what the Eagles have. Elite offensive line, super young defensive secondary that you don't have to pay for another couple of years. You have multiple people in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation and a free agent you just signed off the scrap heap in the Defensive Player of the Year in Zach Bond. That team, Howie Roseman, we could talk about if Hurts deserved the Super Bowl MVP or not. Howie Roseman deserves some kind of accolade, some kind of award for the team he has put together. And I know we discredit Sirianni as well because it doesn't feel like he's a big part of the puzzle. But, at this point, he's a Super Bowl champion. I can't say anything negative about the guy. I give up.
No, and I also still think, I'm talking myself into thinking that the Lions would do a similar job that the Eagles did last night. I honestly think if they were healthy, which, again, the if game, the theoretical game, but if the Lions were healthy, that means Aiden Hutchinson still playing football on the edge and giving pressure to Patrick Mahomes. That means that offensive line is protecting Jared Goff. I think we see a similar result to where I'm not completely.
You think the Lions would blow the Chiefs out?
Yeah, I think they could. They absolutely could.
It's just a ridiculous thought because, number one, again, oftentimes when you doubt Mahomes and the Chiefs, you generally are wrong. This time, if you were on the other side of the fence, obviously you were proven right. The Eagles dominated. It is doing a disservice not just to Jalen Hurts, but to what the Eagles were able to do, what Vic Fangio was able to scheme up, and how elite that defensive line was. It's doing a disservice to the Eagles for you to say that about them after this game, after what they showed. There's no other team in the league that would have been able to do that to the Chiefs. They were that dominant. That is that good of a unit. Josh Sweat, 2.5 sacks. He had pressures. I think one of his pressures, the one where Mahomes was in the end zone, the interception of Zach Bond, that was directly affected or impacted because of Josh Sweat's pressure off the right side. He hit Mahomes on that throw, and that's what made it errant enough for Bond to get it. Like, the Lions don't have enough juice to do that. And nobody in the league did. The Bills didn't. Maybe the Ravens could have, but they couldn't get past the Bills. You got to win the games to get there.
Yeah, you certainly do, but it's also a game of matchups. So if you match up well against Team A in the divisional or Team A in the AFC Championship game, but you are much better against who may face in the NFC in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. I think that's also to consider too.
Yes, but I just give me the one reason why you feel the Lions actually would have been able to not just beat the Chiefs, because I don't think that happens either, but blow them out, because I legitimately don't see it. And this isn't my fandom speaking. This is just me objectively looking at how great the Eagles were, and I'm giving reverence to what they were able to do, whereas it seems like you're cutting the rug out from under them.
Oh, because I see a similar offensive attack, so that's half the game.
It didn't even work.
What?
It didn't even work. Like, you're talking about the rushing attack? Like, Saquon Barkley had 25 carries for 57 yards.
Because in the past game, I saw Jalen Hurts sit back there for 5, 6, 7 seconds where no one could get pressure on him, allowing to pick apart the secondary of the Chiefs, which is a very good side of the ball, but it didn't look very good last night.
Right. You're right. Like, again, Jalen Hurts had an electric game. I'm taking Jalen Hurts over Jared Goff.
Yeah, he had a very good game because he had a very good protection that allowed him to do that. And we talked about it earlier, how Jared Goff, when he gets pressured, that he looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah.
And I did not see Jalen Hurts get pressured much at all last night, even with a lot of studs who were on that D-line.
Part of that also has to do with the fact that the Eagles they didn't get outsmarted at the line of scrimmage as many times as like the Bills. Let's not get this wrong. Josh Allen got outsmarted by Steve Spagnuolo in that AFC Championship game on that 4th and 5, where everybody's trying to knock Dalton Kincaid for catching that ball or dropping that pass. Like, that was a lack of being able to, break down what the actual coverage was. He didn't see the blitzer coming, Trey McDuffie, and he put himself in that situation. The Eagles didn't. Like, Spags was not able to get past a guy like Kellen Moore, who's now going to be the head coach of the Saints. And also, who name the guys on the Lions that would have been able to create that level of pressure? Like, yeah, sure, if Aiden Hutchinson was healthy, it would have been more of a game. Outside of that, I mean, the Eagles, you're discrediting Zach Bond, Josh Sweat, Oren Burks. In the back, they don't have guys like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell to go along with Darius Slay. Jordan Davis, that guy's irreplicable. That 400-pound mountain of a man is irreplicable in the middle of the defense. That's why the Chiefs couldn't run it all. Like, I just think that we're doing a disservice to the Eagles if we're going to act like anybody could have done that. And if they would have been able to do it, we would have seen it already. We do have a caller on. Paul is in Jupiter. Paul is in Jupiter. You're here on Theoretically Speaking on a Victory Monday for the Eagles. Paul, were you like the rest of the nation rooting against the Chiefs, or were you like myself and C-Cat hoping to see a three-peat?
Actually, I kind of middle of the road. Because I didn't have a horse in the race. I was just hoping for a good game, and by halftime I turned it off. So it was kind of brutal.
Did you at least enjoy the halftime show there?
Well, I'm not the biggest Kendrick Lamar fan. I did see him at Sunfest many years ago, and he was a little less vulgar this time. Yeah, so that was definitely a plus.
Well, I think the FCC will do that to you, Paul. What you got on your mind here on this Monday following the big game?
Well, I heard you guys talking about 10 minutes or so ago about the Jalen Hurts Mahomes kind of comparison, and where would you put Jalen Hurts? And before I preface this by saying I wish my team had Jalen Hurts as their quarterback.
Who's your team?
I think the Steelers.
Oh yeah. Well, yes. you wish a majority of the quarterbacks in the league was in your locker room, and that's kind of why the Steelers have been how they've been. But what were you about to say, though? What was your point on Hurts?
Well, I was just going to say, I think the best way to look at it, I kind of think of the old Bum Phillips saying where he was referring to Don Shula and said he could take his and beat yours, and then he could take yours and beat his. And I was thinking, okay, what if we switched quarterbacks on the teams? Would the result have been the same yesterday? If you put Mahomes on the Eagles, would they still win? If you put Hurts on the Chiefs, would they have won? And to me, I think Mahomes would have won whichever team you had him on. I don't think Hurts would have won with what Kansas City had yesterday.
No, you're right about that, and I appreciate the call. That was one way to put it for sure, because I don't think Hurts is not better than Patrick Mahomes. He outplayed him. I will say this, in a very wacky way, I do think maybe Jalen Hurts gets more out of this Chiefs offense only because of his ability to be like the lead runner in a rushing attack, because the Chiefs had nothing on the ground. And at the very least, they might have been able to move the chains and keep the Eagles offense off the field if Mahomes could just lower his head and run the ball like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen do. Like, don't you think that would at least kind of make up the difference there? Because there was no blocking those edge rushers.
I guess so, but whenever you're running backwards and Mahomes is really doing that, weaving in and out, it's not like you're rewarded for being a good runner because you're not navigating the backfield and navigating the pocket with the intent to run the football.
Yeah.
Like, that's not your goal there. You just reluctantly will tuck the football and run. And I still think, it wouldn't be close.
It wouldn't be close. I mean, the Eagles had a much better roster, much better team, and Jalen Hurts still played extremely well. I know a place that is efficient, as well as they have some great specials and deals, including this week. You might think that football season's wrapped, but it ain't over yet.
Wait, what?
At Duffy Sports Grill. Still more to go. The Monday Night Burger Blitz, C-Cat.
All right.
The Monday Night Burger Blitz. It's been extending all the way through Thursday this week. And if you don't know what the Monday Night Burger Blitz is, tap in right now. All day, every day. Get a Duffy's Original Cheeseburger for just $8.99 with the purchase of any beverage. Duffy Certified Angus Beef Original Cheeseburgers were once again voted best in Palm Beach County. And now through Thursday, you can get one for just $8.99 with the purchase of any beverage at your local Duffy's Sports Grill. Duffy's, our game is always on. This is a limited time offer, though, valid Monday, literally today through Thursday, and it's for dine-in only with the purchase of a beverage, and it cannot be combined with MVP rewards, coupons, or any other discount. The price varies by location. Check out Duffy's. At Duffy's, our game is always on, and don't forget the 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. C-Cat on the other side, we debate. I mean, there's Patriots fans are popping champagne. They're popping champagne, so we discuss whether or not they are valid in believing the GOAT conversation is over, plus a get-around Super Bowl theme. That's C-Cat. I'm Theo Dorsey. It's the Happy Hour on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
The new state-of-the-art showroom at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach is now open. And let me tell you, it's amazing. If you're looking for a brand new 2020 to 2025 Kia, there is something for you. Every car has so many awesome features, it will be hard to pick just one. Plus, the safety tech and that unbeatable 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. There's peace of mind in every mile. If you've been putting off car shopping, now's the time. Don't wait any longer. Get down to Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, trade keys, and drive home a new Kia today. So, which one will you choose? See my friend Lonnie Mister at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach and find out why there are more Kias on the road every day. Call 800-NEW-KIAS or Lonnie at 561-433-1511 and check us out online at greenwaykiawestpalmbeach.com. Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, where your new Kia is waiting for you.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See kia.com or retailer for details.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore.
Ugh.
And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
This Valentine's Day, give the one you love a gift with endless possibilities. Give a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach. Breakers gift cards let you treat the one who matters most to the things they love the most, like irresistible oceanfront getaways, lessons at the Breakers' new golf and racket club, pampering at the exquisite spa, and shopping at the resort's stylish collection of on- and off-site boutiques. Gift cards may also be used for dining at the Breakers' renowned restaurants and bars, including Echo, Henry's Palm Beach, HMF, and Flagler's Steakhouse. What's even better? For a limited time, when you purchase a $500 gift card online at thebreakers.com, you'll receive an additional $50 on that card, compliments of the Breakers. This Valentine's Day, give the one you love a gift card to the Breakers Palm Beach and remind them why they fell in love with you in the first place. Visit thebreakers.com today.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
Introducing the 2025 Land Rover Discovery Sport. Designed for those who crave adventure, style, and performance. And now it's more accessible than ever with 3.9% APR for 60 months. For well-qualified buyers, that means payments as low as $1,837 a month per $1,000 financed. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach located on Okeechobee Boulevard or head over to LandRoverPalmBeach.com today for more information on how you can take home the 2025 Land Rover Discovery Sport.
Experience the thrill of Formula One in Miami from May 2nd through the 4th. For the first time, one-day grandstand tickets are available. Starting at just $65, it offers all the flexibility you need for your schedule. Do you want the best value for your weekend? Grab a 3-day grandstand ticket and catch every moment of the on-track action all weekend long. Choose your vantage point all over the track with the breathtaking views of all the action. Visit F1MiamiGP.com to explore grandstand options and secure a spot at the 2025 Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. The race that's an experience.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or BradleyAir.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today. Don't miss out on this incredible course. And please, putt responsibly.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
I still will contend this, man. In that losing effort, your boy came up last night. Shout out my guy Xavier Worthy catching the 50-yard bomb from Patrick Mahomes, and then DeAndre Hopkins getting the 2-point conversion. And I didn't even know I had this box in our Super Bowl boxes competition. I was not paying attention at that moment. I was actually having a great in-depth conversation with my wife at that point, and then boom, I get a buzz on my phone, and it's some cash flowing my way. Thanks to the final score. What was it, like 40-22? It worked out in my favor.
Yep, you had the Eagles 0 and the Chiefs 2.
Wow. Would you look at that? I didn't even understand how – I literally had to ask you afterwards how I did get that win, but either way, we will take it. Either way, it's money in the bank for the Dorsey family as we celebrated that anniversary. 1 year down, many to go. Is joint pain affecting your quality of life? At Baptist Health Orthopedic Care, our team is experienced in traditional joint replacement surgery as well as new – less invasive treatments with the goal of returning you to what you love as quickly as possible. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. We back up, dog. Can I hear the Worthy one time? I know we're doing the get around. Can I hear the Worthy touchdown just one time? I want to feel good. I want that Joe. I also had, by the way, I had Worthy 2 touchdowns as one of my plays that also cashed in. And again, under 2 minutes to go from the 50-yard line, Mahomes to Worthy.
Mahomes still in the game. Back to throw. Loading up, going to take a shot for Worthy deep down the field. He's got it.
Right in the red. Woo!
Xavier Worthy with the long
That was a dot, baby.
I love starting the
That dropped
highlight
it in
with
the bucket.
Mahomes still in the game.
Yeah.
Why is he still in the game?
I don't know. But to be honest with you, that was a glimmer of hope because it was reminiscent of a couple of those Tyreek Hill bombs of back in the day. Everybody's been clamoring for the Chiefs to get that vertical passing game going again. Maybe that is a preview of what will come next season. That is going to be hopefully what I'm looking forward to. It's time for the get around, baby. It's time for the get around. We are traveling, and this is all Super Bowl themed here. We're traveling all across the nation, hitting the biggest headlines of the day, and I wish this was on a better day. Sucks.
Next stop.
Our first stop of the get around drops us off in Los Angeles, California.
Nice.
Why do you ask? That's the headquarters of Fox Sports. Why are we there, you might ask? Because people are clamoring for the employee who designed the score bug to be fired. Did you hate, love, indifferent? How did you view the new Fox score bug last night that debuted?
You know what's hilarious is for the whole first quarter, I had no clue what people were talking about because I had to watch the game on Telemundo on my phone because we were out at dinner. Our anniversary dinner went a little long. It was hard getting out of there on time, by the way. Immaculate food, immaculate dinner. It was great. But I was watching on Telemundo. I couldn't understand anything. I also did not understand the graphics, but they weren't the Fox Sports scoreboard. And by the time I got back to the hotel to watch the rest of the game, the score bug was the last thing on my mind. The game was pretty much over with by then, and I was a little bit more disheartened by the actual game flow. But what the hell was that? It was like a boneless scoreboard.
Yeah, it was like Fortnite font. That's what it was.
Why?
I kind of liked it. I'll be honest. I thought it looked good, a little more simplistic than more of the newer era scorebooks we get. I had no problem with it.
It just was weird. It wasn't that it was bad necessarily. It was just weird, and obviously there were a lot of people that hated it because people either love or hate everything these days.
Next stop.
We're going to Orlando, Florida. Continuing the time-honored tradition.
Jalen Hurts, you and the Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to Disney World.
Yep, the reason Hurts gets to say that is that he was the Super Bowl MVP. Was he deserving of Super Bowl MVP last night?
He was. He was because that offense ran through Jalen Hurts. Everybody came into the game thinking that it would be Saquon Barkley. I believe he had shorter odds than Hurts coming into the game for the Eagles to win Super Bowl MVP. Barkley had 25 carries and, 57 yards?
Yeah.
Hurts was the leading rusher for the Eagles, the leading passer, clearly, and he only made one mistake. I want to correct that. He didn't make enough mistakes to put them out of the game. He was the MVP. He deserved it.
Not Josh Sweat?
He also deserved it. And so did Howie Roseman.
But if you had one unit that won that game, if you had to pick one of the four, take special teams out of it, it was the Eagles' defense, no?
The problem is, though, Josh Sweat doesn't do that on his own, just like Jalen Hurts doesn't do that on his own. And I think we all can agree the defense was the dominant force that actually won the Eagles the game. That was the biggest difference between this Super Bowl and the last one between the Chiefs and Eagles. But the problem is you can't award the MVP to a unit. You have to award it to a player, and Jalen Hurts did impact the game more than just Josh Sweat individually. He deserved the MVP. I mean, it's just like Tom Brady got the MVP when James White racked up all the yards and touchdowns in the Super Bowl win against the Falcons. Hurts did just as much, if not more, than Brady in that game.
Next stop.
Going to Compton, California.
Hey.
The hometown of halftime show performer Kendrick Lamar. Like seemingly every halftime show, many hated it. They were vocal about it. Many loved it. They were vocal about it. Did you fall in either of these crowds?
I actually liked it a lot. I didn't love it. It wasn't my favorite Kendrick Lamar performance. I've seen him multiple times in person. Seen him back in his early days when he was more of a lesser-known name, and looking forward to seeing him on tour this year as well. I'm a big Kendrick fan. It was good for me. I enjoyed it personally, and it's funny with all the people that hated it or said that, like, other acts would have been better or he didn't do enough hits or radio songs and whatnot. I'm like, I could not care less about somebody else's lack of enjoyability around a Super Bowl halftime performance when I've had to sit through some acts that I didn't even know what their name was before the game kicked off in my earlier years. So,
you didn't like The Who?
Exactly. Exactly. So Kendrick, it was a blessing to see a guy like that on the big stage. He did his thing, and maybe we can finally retire the hit "They Not Like Us." I think Drake is cooked. It's over with.
It was kind of lame.
The battle is done.
Yeah, I think that you should do halftime shows that make the most amount of people happy. And I don't think a country music artist would do that. I don't think that a rap artist would do that. I think you got to fall into the mainstream.
I think Drake would.
And I didn't even mention him. He's on your brain, dude. He's on your brain because I think Drake would be the perfect halftime performer.
How can he not be? I mean, he's not. He's the biggest pop star in rap.
Yeah,
he
I would say
do
so.
Great. Drake would have the single best halftime show of anybody right now. Maybe Bad Bunny, maybe like a Sabrina Carpenter could do well, but Drake would reach the masses in a way that nobody else can. But that's the aura and brand of Drake. That's not Kendrick. Kendrick is an artist. Maybe Beyonce, too, though. Beyonce's halftime show was a little divisive because it got political that year, but she is the best performer we have alive today.
She had the best halftime performance this year.
Yeah.
Her Christmas Day performance in Houston was better than Kendrick Lamar's.
Yeah, obviously. What are you talking?
Well, it shouldn't be that way, right?
What?
The Super Bowl is made to have the best halftime show of the year.
So this is the problem. If y'all had expectations of Kendrick Lamar outperforming Beyonce, then you are the problem. Kendrick is an artist. He is not the level of performer that Beyonce is, and never will he be. And the fans of Kendrick Lamar don't expect him to.
I thought the halftime show of the Super Bowl should be better than the halftime show of a meaningless regular season blowout.
Bro,
yeah.
I watched Katy Perry dance with sharks at a halftime show. You're acting like this is the cream of the crop?
It should be.
It isn't. It clearly isn't. It's a commercial product. It's just a thing. It's just a halftime show. If you enjoy it, you do. If you don't, you don't.
Next up.
You know what I enjoy?
Yeah.
I love when the PGA Tour comes to town because we're going to have Todd Fleming in on Friday. Oh, the more details that he develops here on Theoretically Speaking, the more I get excited.
It's going to be fun, man. PGA Tour drops in here once a year for the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, and it's always a party. It's always a show, and it's always also a who's who type of event when you pull up. February 26th through March 2nd. Again, that's just 2 weeks away. The Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches going to deliver a best-in-class on-site experience featuring a variety of fan amenities alongside the premier competition that the PGA Tour brings. Kids that are 15 and under, they are admitted free with a ticketed adult. And the event is right around the corner, man. So if you want the Yellow Flamingo Club, you want some bear trap seats, any of that stuff, lock in. TheCognizantClassic.com. TheCognizantClassic.com. Get your tickets today and pull up on us February 26th at PGA National. Man, that was some fun. Yeah, I don't understand why everybody wants – it's like you're squeezing an apple and expecting orange juice to come out. Kendrick Lamar did what Kendrick Lamar does. And nobody is competing with Beyonce. Who's your favorite performer of all time? Like, who's somebody that you loved watching in person?
Yeah, I'm not good at that. I don't know. I'm not the biggest music fan, so my judgment is not going to be similar to anybody else's.
I feel you. There's no comparison to Beyonce.
Okay.
Like Michael Jackson. That's it.
I will say, a thought I had was, well, I don't like rap, so I'm not going to like this.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know any of the songs that Beyonce sung at all. But I loved the performance that much because it was that cool.
Yeah,
it's almost like the opposite with Rihanna's halftime show, where I knew all her songs. Like, wait, that's her too?
She wasn't
cool.
really trying.
Exactly. It was very a simple performance, but I still did like that.
That's the beauty of Beyonce, though, is that's why she's the single greatest performance of our generation, and she also is one of the greatest artists of all time. The Beehive exists for a reason. Some of them are a little overboard, including my wife, who watches when she goes on tour. She goes to like multiple shows, which I think is crazy, but it exists for a reason. She is that great. And Kendrick is not in any kind of tier close to Beyonce as a performer, but he is a great rap artist. On the other side, we continue the happy hour here on Theoretically Speaking, and we do finally discuss whether or not the GOAT debate between Mahomes and Brady is over, like Patriots fans are hoping. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey. We're Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Experience the thrill of Formula One in Miami from May 2nd through the 4th. For the first time, one-day grandstand tickets are available. Starting at just $65, it offers all the flexibility you need for your schedule. Do you want the best value for your weekend? Grab a 3-day grandstand ticket and catch every moment of the on-track action all weekend long. Choose your vantage point all over the track with the breathtaking views of all the action. Visit F1MiamiGP.com to explore grandstand options and secure a spot at the 2025 Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. The race that's an experience.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today. Don't miss out on this incredible course. And please, putt responsibly.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
Hey, y'all get some more drinks going on. I sound a whole lot better.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Anyone telling you Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time, anyone saying he is better than Tom Brady, you should stop listening to them today. They are being disingenuous. They are letting their fandom or their opinions get in the way of facts. By that same token, anyone who definitively says the GOAT conversation, the debate between whether or not Mahomes can catch Tom Brady, is officially closed based on last night's results, you should stop listening to this person immediately. They are being disingenuous. They are letting their own optimism or beliefs or fandoms interfere what objectively we have been witnessing. Here's one undoubtable fact. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Through 7 seasons of his career, no NFL player has had more success, especially at the quarterback position, and nobody has had the run that the Chiefs have had these past 3 years, right? We've seen teams go back-to-back. We've never seen a team three-peat. We've also never seen a football team have a shot at a three-peat because nobody's made it back to that Super Bowl stage like the Chiefs did. Did they get mollywopped? Sure. Is Mahomes now 3-2 in Super Bowls with 2 blowout losses, one at the hands of Tom Brady? Yeah. But guess what? Brady started his career 3-2 in Super Bowls as well. Brady was allowed to play out the rest of his career and build a legacy that felt impenetrable until number 15 entered this league. I do believe that Brady gets a check mark. He gets a small win off of last night's results. But by that same token, this debate about this 29-year-old who is ascending, who looks like the greatest talent we've ever seen at that position, It is far from over. We'll have another decade to debate this out. Go in love, go in peace, go in joy. Russo and Rizzo is next on ESPN 106.3.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash. Enjoy unlimited inside and out hand washes for just $49.95 per month, less than the price of 2 washes. You'll get unlimited hand washes with sealer wax, dash, windows and vacuum, tire shined, and hand finished. All unlimited. Not a member? Stop and get a quick wash anytime at great prices. And during January and February, if you join our club, you'll only pay $25 a month for the first 2 months and then $49.95 thereafter. Visit us at unlimitedautowashclub.com or